Admiral June Kim stood at the viewport of Orbital Defense Station Europa. His tired eyes looked out at the stars. After 50 years of peace with the Galactic Consortium, humans had grown comfortable. Earth and its 17 colony worlds had done well under the protection agreement. They traded resources and technology while slowly building their defenses. June rubbed his eyes. His uniform felt tight after the long shift. At 62 years old, he had spent most of his life in space. He remembered the early days when humans first met the Consortium. The aliens had seemed so advanced, so powerful. They offered protection and knowledge in exchange for resources. It seemed like a good deal at the time. "Sir, would you like some coffee?" Lieutenant Day asked, approaching with a steaming cup. "Thank you, Day. Any updates from the outer colonies?" June took the cup, feeling its warmth against his palms. "All quiet, sir. Routine reports from New Busan and New Seoul. Mining operations at Gangnam Station are ahead of schedule." June nodded. Quiet was good. Quiet meant peace. He took a sip of coffee and turned back to the viewport. Something about today felt wrong. A feeling in his gut that he couldn't explain. In his decades of military service, he had learned to trust that feeling. "Run a full system diagnostic on our defense grid," he ordered suddenly, "and send a status request to all colonies." Lieutenant Day looked surprised but didn't question the order. "Yes, sir. Right away." 2 hours passed. The diagnostics showed all systems working normally. June was beginning to think his worries were just the paranoia of an old soldier. Then everything changed. "Admiral!" Lieutenant Hyun shouted from her communication station. Her voice shook. "Urgent transmission from New Busan Colony." June rushed to her station. The holographic display flickered with static before showing the colony governor's face. Governor Lee's cheek was bleeding, and smoke filled the background. "They came without warning," Governor Lee gasped. His eyes were wide with fear. "The consortium betrayed us. Millions dead already. They're saying we violated Treaty Section 774B, but that's impossible. We've done nothing." The transmission cut off. Suddenly, the room fell silent. "Try to re-establish contact," June ordered, his voice steady despite the shock. "I can't, sir. All communications with New Busan are gone," Hyun replied, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. Before June could respond, another officer called out, "Sir, we're getting emergency signals from New Seoul now." Then another, "Gangnam Station is under attack." And another, "Incheon Prime reports consortium warships in orbit." The reports flooded in from all directions. Colony after colony reported surprise attacks. The pattern was clear. This was not a misunderstanding or a limited conflict. The consortium had launched a coordinated strike against all of humanity. June's mind raced. Why now? After 50 years of peace? The consortium claimed humans had violated Treaty Section 774B. That section prohibited the development of certain weapons technologies. But June knew the official human military had followed all restrictions carefully. "Sir, what are your orders?" his second-in-command asked. June took a deep breath. "Send alert level Omega to all military installations in human space, and open secure channel 973. His officers exchanged nervous glances. Channel 973 was the emergency protocol that many had heard about but none had ever seen used. The main screen changed to show a simple text prompt asking for authorization. June placed his palm on the scanner and spoke clearly. "Admiral June Kim, authorization Nightfall Omega 69. The screen changed again, now showing a secure quantum connection to a location not listed in any official database. A woman's face appeared on screen. Her gray hair was pulled back tightly, her expression serious. "Admiral Kim, I had hoped we would never have this conversation." Director Park, "The consortium has attacked all major colonies simultaneously. They claim treaty violations." Director Park nodded grimly. "We've been monitoring. Their attack pattern suggests they aim to eliminate humanity before we can mount a defense. They want a quick extinction." "Is Project Nightfall ready?" June asked the question that had been a whispered secret among the highest levels of human military. Yes, all 50 shipyards are operational. The fleet is ready for deployment on your command. June closed his eyes briefly. Project Nightfall had been the ultimate insurance policy. For 30 years, humanity had secretly built an enormous fleet of warships hidden throughout the solar system and beyond. Ships with technologies the consortium believed impossible for humans to develop. "How many vessels are combat-ready?" he asked. 900,000, Director Park replied without hesitation. The officers in the command center gasped. The official human fleet numbered less than 2,000 ships, and the Dyson arrays? June continued. 3 are operational, 2 more at 90% completion. June nodded. The Dyson arrays were massive structures built around distant stars to capture their energy. Energy that could power weapons strong enough to destroy planets if necessary. "The consortium believes they caught us unprepared," June said more to himself than anyone else. "They have no idea what's coming." He turned to face his officers, whose expressions showed a mixture of shock and hope. "Send this message on all. Human military channels authentication code Omega. The consortium has revealed its true intentions. Activate Protocol Omega. Unseal the Nightfall fleet." Throughout human space, hidden bunkers, asteroid bases, and cloud stations received the message. Massive doors began to open. Lights activated on ships that had never seen battle. Weapons systems came online. Back on the defense station, June opened a secure channel to Earth. "President Min, the consortium has launched a surprise attack on all colonies. I've activated Project Nightfall." The president's face showed no surprise, only resignation. "Then we're at war. How long until the Nightfall fleet can respond?" "The first ships are already moving. Within 6 hours, the entire fleet will be deployed." "President?" Min nodded. "The consortium thinks they know humans. They've studied us, categorized us, underestimated us. They see us as young, impulsive, technologically inferior. They never understood our capacity for preparation, for sacrifice." "Sir," June said quietly, "Earth will likely be attacked soon. The temporal disruption technology we detected in the colony attacks could cut you off from the rest of human space. We are prepared, Admiral. Earth has its defenses. Focus on protecting what remains of our colonies and deploying the fleet. If Earth falls silent, continue with the plan." A junior officer interrupted. "Admiral, we're detecting a large consortium fleet approaching Earth's orbit." June looked back at the president. "It's starting. Good luck, Mr. President. And to you, Admiral. Remember, this isn't about revenge, it's about survival." The transmission ended. June turned to his officers, his face set with determination. "Send word to all remaining human forces. Operation Nightfall has begun. The real human fleet is about to reveal itself." Across the solar system and beyond, humanity's hidden arsenal started to move. The consortium had started this war believing they faced a simple enemy with limited capabilities. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Dr. Sujin Park stood in the center of the Jupiter shipyard control room. Screens covered every wall, showing thousands of warships in perfect rows. For 30 years, she had worked on Project Nightfall. As chief engineer of the hidden Jupiter shipyards, she had helped build the most advanced ships humans had ever made. "Status report," she said, her voice calm despite the emergency alerts flashing on every screen. Her assistant, Dr. Tay, checked his tablet. "Systems check complete on batch 15,000 through 20,000. All ships show green status. Weapon systems active. Shields at full power." Sujin nodded. The Jupiter shipyards were just one of 50 similar facilities hidden throughout human space. Some were built inside hollow asteroids. Others hid in the clouds of gas giants. A few were disguised as mining operations. All of them had worked in perfect secrecy for decades. "And the autonomous combat systems?" she asked. "All functioning perfectly. The neural networks have completed their final battle simulations with a 97% success rate." Sujin allowed herself a small smile. The consortium had forbidden humans from developing true AI for military use. They claimed it was too dangerous. But in the darkness of these hidden shipyards, humanity had pushed far beyond what the aliens thought possible. A door slid open behind her. General Han walked in, his uniform crisp despite the chaos unfolding across human space. His face looked tired, but his eyes were sharp. "Dr. Park," he said with a nod. "The situation is worse than we expected. We've lost contact with Earth. The consortium has deployed a temporal disruption field around the homeworld." Sujin's smile faded. That was always a possibility. Earth knew this might happen. "Yes. And now we proceed as planned." General Han inserted a key into a console and turned it. "I'm authorizing full deployment of the Jupiter fleet." Throughout human space, military commanders were opening sealed orders. Many were shocked by what they read. Even those with high security clearance had not known the full scale of Project Nightfall. Humanity had built not just thousands, but hundreds of thousands of warships, each one equipped with technology that broke multiple consortium treaties. The hidden shipyard near Saturn, Commander Jun received his orders with wide eyes. 900,000 ships, he whispered to his second-in-command. "How is that possible?" "Look," his officer pointed to the main view screen. Massive doors were opening in what had appeared to be empty space. Behind those doors, thousands of identical warships sat in perfect rows. Their black hulls absorbed light instead of reflecting it. No windows or external lights marked their surfaces. Similar scenes played out across the solar system and beyond. In the clouds of gas giants, in hollowed asteroids, in fake mining facilities, humanity's secret fleet revealed itself. Back in the Jupiter shipyard, Sujin watched as the first batch of ships moved out of their docking bays. They moved in perfect formation, like schools of predatory fish. "Tell me about the Dyson arrays," General Han said quietly. Sujin led him to a separate screen. It showed 3 massive ring-like structures, each partially surrounding a distant star. 3 are operational, as planned. They're currently at 82% energy collection efficiency. General Han studied the structures with awe. Each Dyson array was designed to capture the energy of an entire star. It was technology the consortium believed impossible for humans to develop for at least another 1,000 years. And the weapon systems? Sujin touched the screen, bringing up technical specifications. "The temporal disruption technology we borrowed from consortium ships has been improved. Our version has triple the range and better stability." "They used it against Earth," General Han said grimly. "Yes. But they don't know we have it too, and they certainly don't know about these." She swiped to show another weapon system. "The phase cannons can target ships in hyperspace. The consortium believes that's impossible." General Han nodded. "What about the Colossus?" Sujin hesitated. "It's ready, but I hope we never need to use it." The Colossus was Project Nightfall's ultimate weapon, a planet killer. It had been built only as the last resort. Alarms suddenly blared through the control room. Dr. Tay called out from his station. "Consortium scout ships detected approaching Jupiter's orbit." "How did they find us?" General Han demanded. "They haven't, sir," Dr. Tay replied. "Sensor data suggests they're doing a standard sweep of the system. They don't know about the shipyard yet." Sujin made a quick decision. "Launch all ships now. Stealth protocols until they clear the Jupiter shadow, then full burn." Across the massive shipyard, launch sequences activated. Thousands of warships began to move. Their engines glowed with a deep blue light that existed nowhere in the consortium's technology database. "All ships showing green status," Dr. Tay reported. "Quantum communication network established. The Jupiter fleet awaits your command." Sujin looked at General Han. He nodded and stepped forward to the command console. "This is General Han to all Nightfall vessels. Your primary mission is the protection of human colonies and installations. Your secondary mission is the neutralization of consortium military assets. Civilian targets are to be avoided at all costs. We are fighting for survival, not revenge." On the main screen, they watched as the first wave of ships cleared Jupiter's massive shadow. 5,000 warships moving, in perfect formation. The consortium scout ships didn't detect them until it was too late. "Consortium scouts have spotted our first wave," Dr. Tay reported. "They're attempting to send a warning signal." "Block it," Sujin ordered. A targeted pulse of energy shot out from the lead human ship. The consortium scouts went dark. Their communications cut off before they could alert their fleet. Scout ships disabled, Dr. Tay confirmed. No destruction, as ordered. Their life support systems remain functional. General Han nodded in approval. We're not monsters. We won't kill unnecessarily. A secure communication channel opened. Admiral June Kim's face appeared on screen. General Han, Dr. Park. Status report. Jupiter. Fleet is launching now, Admiral. General Han reported. 20,000 ships in the first wave. The rest will follow in synchronized deployment. Good. Saturn, Neptune, and Kuiper fleets report similar progress. The Mars and Venus shipyards are already empty. Their fleets are moving to protect the outer colonies. Sujin stepped forward. Admiral, we've detected a large consortium battle group heading toward the remains of New Busan colony. They appear to be bringing in planet cracker weapons. Admiral Kim's expression darkened. They're making sure nothing survives. Redirect the Ganymede fleet to intercept. Use of phase cannons authorized. As the orders were relayed, Sujin watched the main screen. The black ships of humanity's hidden fleet were now visible against Jupiter's swirling clouds. More and more emerged each minute, forming a vast armada. It's really happening, she said quietly. After all these years of preparation. General Han stood beside her. The consortium thought they knew us. They studied us like they study all young species. But they missed something important about humans. What's that? Sujin asked. We never forgot our own history. Thousands of years of warfare against ourselves taught us to always prepare for the worst. We hoped for peace but built for war. He watched as another wave of ships launched, and now the galaxy will learn just how prepared we really are. Outside the shipyard, the human fleet continued to grow. Thousands upon thousands of warships, their black hulls forming a dark cloud against the stars. The hidden arsenal of humanity was hidden no more. The Consortium High Council chamber was silent. 20 alien leaders sat around a massive table made of rare crystal. Their different body shapes and colors showed the diversity of the Consortium's ruling species. But now, they all shared the same expression: shock. Elder diplomat Xyler stood tall on his 4 legs. His blue skin reflected the holographic displays that filled the room. Each display showed the same thing: human warships, thousands of them, appearing from nowhere. Impossible, Xyler said. His voice echoed in the chamber. Our intelligence reports indicate humans possess fewer than 2,000 military vessels. Most of those have already been neutralized in our first strike. Military Commander Drez, a red-scaled reptilian, pointed at the displays with a clawed hand. Then explain these, Elder Xyler. Our sensors do not lie. Do not. Human warships are emerging across their territory. Not thousands. Hundreds of thousands. The holographic displays updated, showing new sensor data. More human ships appeared every minute. Where were they hiding all this? Asked Science Minister Talo, her 6 eyes blinking rapidly. Our surveys of human space found nothing like this. Before anyone could answer, all displays in the room suddenly changed. Admiral June Kim's face appeared on every screen. His message played simultaneously across all consortium communication channels. For 50 years we sought peaceful coexistence, the human admiral said. His voice was calm but firm. You chose extermination. We choose survival. 900,000 warships are now deployed. Each carries technology you believed beyond our capability. Each targets a consortium world, station, or military asset. The council chamber erupted in voices. Some shouted orders. Others demanded explanations. A few simply stared in disbelief. Across consortium space, the same scene played out. Military commanders watched in horror as their sensor screens filled with human ships. The human fleet was splitting into precise formations. Each group accelerated toward specific targets. They used drive technology the consortium had believed theoretical at best. On the consortium capital world of Cyrilia, citizens looked up to see strange lights appearing in the sky. The orbital defense platforms were activating, their weapons powering up. But there were too many human ships. Far too many. Back in the Jupiter Shipyard Command Center, Dr. Sujin Park monitored the deployment. Screens showed all 50 human shipyards emptying. The hidden fleets were moving into attack position. All ships implementing communications. Blackout, she confirmed. Her fingers moved across the control panel. Initiating Phase 1. Across human space, 900,000 warships simultaneously activated their temporal distortion fields. This was technology stolen and improved upon from the very consortium designs used against Earth. When activated, the fields created bubbles of altered time around each ship. Conventional communications ceased to function across vast regions of space. The galaxy fell silent. Consortium military vessels lost contact with their command centers. Orbital defense platforms could no longer coordinate. The carefully planned response to the human threat collapsed into chaos. In the silent void of space, human ships moved with perfect coordination. They didn't need conventional communications. Each ship carried quantum-entangled systems that allowed instant communication, regardless of distance or temporal distortion. The first consortium defense fleet to encounter the human armada was stationed near the colony world of Belxor. 40 consortium warships formed a defensive line. They were the pride of the consortium navy. Each ship carried weapons that could destroy a small moon. The human fleet approaching them numbered 600 vessels. They moved in a strange pattern, constantly shifting positions yet maintaining perfect formation. The consortium commander ordered his ships to fire. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes shot toward the human fleet, but the strange movement pattern of the human ships wasn't random. It was a precisely calculated defensive formation. Most of the consortium weapons missed their targets. Those that didn't were absorbed by shields far stronger than humans should possess. Then the human ships fired back. The battle lasted less than 5 minutes. The consortium fleet was obliterated. The battle footage transmitted via quantum entanglement to all consortium worlds showed human vessels employing weapons technology that shouldn't exist for centuries according to consortium development models. Similar scenes played out across consortium territory. Human fleets appeared near major worlds, military bases, and strategic locations. The pattern was clear. This was not a random attack. This was a carefully planned operation that had been prepared for years. In the consortium High Council chamber, panic had given way to grim silence. 900,000 ships, Military Commander Drez said quietly. They outnumber our entire fleet more than 20 to 1. How did we miss this? Science Minister Tallow asked. Our surveillance of human space was thorough. Elder Zyler shook his head. We saw what we expected to see. A young species barely space-capable, grateful for our protection. We never thought to look deeper. A new transmission cut through the silence. This time it showed Dr. Soo-Jin Park. Her face was calm, her voice steady. Attention Consortium Leadership. This is Dr. Soo-Jin Park, Chief Engineer of Project Nightfall. You are witnessing only the first phase of our response to your unprovoked attack. In addition to our fleet, we have deployed 3 Dyson arrays around stars in former consortium territory. These structures can harvest the energy of entire stars, energy that can be used to power weapons beyond your comprehension. The displays change to show massive ring-like structures partially surrounding stars. The consortium leaders recognized the technology immediately. It was theoretical in their own scientific communities. Something that might be possible in 1,000 years. Yet here were humans, using it now. We do not desire the extinction of your species, Dr. Park continued. Unlike you, we believe in coexistence, but we will no longer accept a position of manufactured inferiority. The attack on our colonies has cost millions of human lives. There will be consequences. The transmission ended. In its place, sensor data showed human fleets continuing their advance across consortium space. No consortium force had yet managed to stop them or even slow them down. Send the surrender proposal. The consortium High Elder finally whispered. His voice shook with fear. Before it's too late. Military Commander Drez slammed his fist on the table. Surrender? To humans? They are violating dozens of treaties using forbidden technology. Technology we forbade them from developing because we knew its potential, Science Minister Tallow pointed out. They built it anyway, in secret, for decades. And now they have 900,000 warships to our 42,000, Elder, Seiler said. They have Dyson arrays when we have only theoretical models. They can communicate through our temporal disruption fields when we thought that impossible. He looked around the table. The choice is clear. We surrender, or we face extinction. In human space, Admiral June Kim received the first reports of consortium fleets attempting to surrender. He opened a channel to Dr. Park. Phase 1 is complete, he said. The consortium leadership is requesting terms. Sujin nodded. And Earth? June's expression darkened. Still cut off by the temporal field, but our ships are moving into position. We'll break through. And then? And then, Admiral Kim said, his voice firm, we negotiate from a position of strength. 900,000 warships worth of strength. Across the galaxy, the nightmare continued for the consortium. Their carefully constructed order had collapsed in hours. The species they had dismissed as primitive had revealed itself to be anything. But the silent void of space now belonged to humanity. Captain Min Park commanded the Vanguard fleet approaching the consortium capital world of Sorelia. His 15,000 ships moved in perfect unison. Their formation looked like a giant arrow pointing toward the planet. Each ship knew its exact position. The formation was designed to provide the best defense while making it hard for enemy weapons to hit them. Min sat in his command chair on the flagship Thunder. At 35 years old, he was young for such an important role, but he had trained for this moment his entire military career. Consortium Defense Fleet is coming out from behind the orbital platforms, his tactical officer, Jiho, reported. Jiho's eyes never left his screen. 87 vessels. They are broadcasting a surrender signal. Min's face showed no emotion. Verify if the surrender is real. Use quantum channel. The human response had been carefully planned. Despite having overwhelming power, Admiral Kim's orders were clear. Accept real surrenders, avoid killing when possible, and focus on military targets only. This wasn't about revenge. It was about ensuring humanity would be safe forever. Surrender confirmed, Captain, Jiho announced after checking the signal. Their weapons are powered down. Good. Send our terms. They must move their ships to these coordinates and prepare for boarding. Min pointed to a location on the tactical display far from any important targets. As the consortium ships complied, Min looked out at the blue-green planet of Zorelia below. It was beautiful. Home to billions of consortium citizens who had nothing to do with the attack on human colonies. Min was glad they wouldn't have to fire on the planet. On 17 fronts across consortium space, human fleets engaged enemy forces. Most battles were quick and one-sided. Human technology proved better in every fight. The temporal disruption fields prevented consortium ships from working together or calling for help. From her command post in the Jupiter shipyard, Dr. Sujin monitored the fleet's performance. Her screens showed battles across the galaxy. She paid special attention to the Dyson Array deployment. The Dyson Array is in position around target star Proxima Helio, her assistant reported. Energy collection at 87% efficiency. Sujin nodded with satisfaction. The Dyson Arrays were the true power behind Project Nightfall. Not just ships, but entire structures built around stars to capture their energy. This energy could power weapons strong enough to destroy planets, or it could provide clean power to hundreds of worlds. Any word from Earth, she asked. Not yet, the temporal disruption field is still in place, but 3 fleets are working to break through. Sujin frowned. Earth was still cut off from the rest of human space. The consortium had used their most powerful temporal technology against humanity's homeworld. Breaking through would not be easy. Back near Zorelia, Captain Min received new orders from Fleet Command. We are to proceed to the consortium High Council chambers, he told his bridge crew. A diplomatic team will meet us there. Soon, Min found himself walking through the grand halls of the consortium government building. Human soldiers walked beside him. They entered the High Council chamber where the most powerful leaders of the consortium waited. How? The High Elder asked when Min approached. The alien's voice was quiet with defeat. How did you build such a force without us knowing? Min looked at the alien leader. He had practiced for this moment too. You studied us as specimens, not equals, he replied calmly. You saw what you expected to see, a young, weak species. You failed to see that our history of fighting against ourselves had prepared us for this moment. Min pointed to the windows where human ships could be seen in the sky above. While you watched our official shipyards, you never thought to look where there should be nothing. The human diplomatic team arrived, led by Ambassador J. They carried the terms of surrender that would reshape the galaxy. On the consortium colony world of Taros, another human fleet had secured the orbital defenses. Colonel Yuna Lee led a ground team to the planet's surface. Their mission was to secure a consortium research facility that had been studying human biology. Move carefully, she ordered her soldiers as they approached the facility. Remember, we're here for the research data, not to harm the scientists. Inside, they found dozens of consortium scientists. The aliens were afraid, some hiding under desks or behind equipment. We surrender, the lead scientist said, trembling. Please, don't kill us. We're not here to kill anyone, Yuna said firmly. We want the data you've collected on humans. All of it. The scientists looked surprised but quickly led the humans to their data storage. Yuna's team began downloading everything. What they found made Yuna's blood boil. The consortium had been studying ways to target human genetic weaknesses. They had been preparing biological weapons that could have killed all humans without harming other species. This is why they attacked, she said to her second-in-command. They were ready to wipe us out completely. Project Nightfall launched just in time. Across the galaxy, similar discoveries were being made. Human teams found evidence that the consortium had been planning humanity's destruction for years. The attack on the colonies was just the first step in a larger plan. Near Earth, 3 human fleets worked together to break through the temporal disruption field. Leading them was Admiral Jun Kim himself. His flagship Defiance carried specialized equipment designed to counter the consortium's technology. Status report, he ordered. The field is weakening, his science officer reported. Our countermeasures are working. Estimated breakthrough in 30 minutes. Jun nodded. And the consortium fleet that placed the field? Destroyed or surrendered, Admiral. Earth's orbit is secured. Jun allowed himself a small smile. Soon, they would know if Earth had survived the attack. If the temporal field had been in place too long, they might find a planet where time had moved differently. Days or even years might have passed for the people on Earth, while only hours passed for the rest of human space. In the Consortium High Council chamber, the surrender negotiations continued. The human terms were firm, but not cruel. All consortium military forces must stand down immediately. The consortium would be dissolved and replaced with a new galactic cooperative, where all species had equal standing. Consortium leaders responsible for the attack on human colonies would face trial. All weapon research targeting specific species would be destroyed. Humans would maintain their fleet until the new cooperative proved stable. These terms are harsh, the High Elder complained. They are fair, Ambassador J responded. We could demand much more. We have the power to take whatever we want. She gestured to the windows where human ships filled the sky. But that is not our way. We want peace, not domination. As the negotiations proceeded, Captain Min received an urgent message from Admiral Kim. He excused himself and stepped into a private room to take the call. Captain, we've broken through the temporal field around Earth, the Admiral said, his face showing relief. The planet is intact. Defense systems held off the worst of the consortium attack. Min felt a weight lift from his shoulders. That's excellent news, Admiral. What about the time differential? Minimal. Less than a week has passed on Earth while only days passed for us. President Min is asking for a full report. Tell her that the consortium is surrendering. The war is nearly over. Admiral Kim nodded. Not a war, Captain. A response. A calculated response to ensure this never happens again. As the call ended, Min looked out at the stars. In less than a day, humanity had gone from facing extinction to becoming the dominant force in the galaxy. The carefully planned Project Nightfall had worked better than anyone had dared to hope. Min thought about his family back on Earth. They were safe now. All humans were safe. The nightmare that had begun with the attack on the colonies was coming to an end. A new chapter in human history was about to begin. 5 years had passed since the day 900,000 human warships launched against the consortium. The galaxy was a very different place now. Admiral Jun Kim, now 77 years old, stood in the Grand Assembly Hall on the former consortium capital of Zorelia. His uniform was decorated with medals, but he rarely spoke of the events that earned them. Around him, representatives from over 200 species had gathered to mark an important moment, the official signing of the new Galactic Cooperative Charter. The Nightfall fleet has been reduced to 100,000 vessels, Jun announced to the assembly. His voice was still strong despite his age. The remaining ships have been changed to serve peace, not war. They now explore space, conduct scientific research, and provide help to worlds in need. The hall erupted in applause. Many of the representatives remembered the fear they felt when human warships appeared in their skies. But that fear had faded as humans proved they wanted peace, not control. Dr. Sujin Park, now serving as Earth's representative to the Cooperative Council, sat in the front row. At 75, her hair was completely white, but her mind remained sharp. She nodded in approval at Jun's words. The past 5 years had been difficult but rewarding. The weapons she had helped create were now being used to build, rather than destroy. When it was her turn to speak, Sujin walked slowly to the center of the hall. She looked out at the faces of so many different species. Some had been enemies. Now they were partners. We never wanted to rule the galaxy, she told them. We wanted to survive. The difference between humanity and the old consortium was simple. They saw power as the goal. We saw it as a tool to protect ourselves. She gestured to the massive window that showed the capital city below. The Dyson arrays once feared as weapons now provide energy to dozens of worlds, including former consortium planets whose stars were becoming unstable. This was the truth that had surprised many. The Dyson arrays had been designed with two purposes. Yes, they could power weapons strong enough to destroy planets, but their main purpose was to provide clean, endless energy to worlds that needed it. In the 5 years since the war, not a single shot had been fired from the arrays. Instead, they powered new terraforming projects, climate restoration efforts, and hospitals on worlds that had never known reliable power. After the ceremony, Jun and Sujin walked together in the gardens outside the assembly hall. "Did you ever think we would see this day?" Sujin asked her old friend. Jun smiled faintly. "I hoped. That was the whole point of Project Nightfall. Not just to win a war, but to create the conditions for lasting peace. Most of the fleet is gone now," Sujin said. "Transformed into science vessels, colony ships, and space stations. 100,000 ships is still more than any other species," Jun pointed out. "Enough to keep the peace." "And the shipyards?" "The last one was converted last month. Jupiter Shipyard is now Jupiter Research Station. They're studying new drive systems that could take us to other galaxies. In orbit above them, ships from a dozen species moved peacefully through space. Among them was the sleek black form of a Nightfall vessel, now painted with white stripes, to show its new purpose as a cooperative peacekeeping ship. On board that ship, Captain Jiho prepared for his mission. Once a tactical officer under Captain Min, he now commanded his own vessel. His crew included not just humans, but members of 7 other species, including former consortium citizens. "Course laid in, Captain," his navigator, an alien named Krell, reported. "The colony ship is ready for escort." Jiho nodded. "Take us out, standard speed. We have settlers to protect." His ship, once built for war, was now escorting a vessel carrying 10,000 colonists to a new world. The colonists came from 6 different species, including humans. They would build a new society together. Back on Earth in Seoul, Captain Min Park had retired from space service. He now taught at the academy, training the next generation of fleet officers. Today, his class included students from 15 different species. The most important lesson from the Nightfall conflict, he told them, was not about weapons or tactics. It was about perception. The consortium failed because they saw only what they expected to see. Never make that mistake. A young student raised her hand. She was not human, but from a species that had once been part of the consortium. Professor Park, she asked, was humanity wrong to build such weapons in secret? Min considered the question carefully. It was one he had thought about many times. We built them hoping never to use them, he said finally. The weapons were our insurance against extinction. The fact that we used them with restraint, that we accepted surrender and sought peace, shows our true intentions. Across the galaxy, the anniversary of the Nightfall fleet's launch was being marked in different ways. On some worlds, it was a day of solemn remembrance for those lost in the brief but destructive conflict. On others, including many former consortium worlds, it was celebrated as Liberation Day, when the oppressive consortium rule ended. On the new colony world of Harmony, settlers from 7 species worked together to build their first city. The mayor, a former consortium citizen named Trell, addressed the gathered colonists. 5 years ago today, I was an officer on a consortium warship, he admitted. I was prepared to die fighting humans. Instead, I surrendered. The humans took me, prisoner, but treated me with respect. They showed me the truth about the consortium's plans. They gave me a choice. Trell looked up at the sky where a human peacekeeping ship watched over the colony. They could have destroyed us all. Instead, they offered a new beginning. I chose to be part of that new beginning. In his private office on Earth, Admiral June Kim reviewed the final decommissioning reports. The last Nightfall shipyard had been completely converted into a research station. The massive construction bays that once built warships now created scientific vessels and colony ships. June thought back to that day when the first colony was attacked, how close humanity had come to extinction. The consortium had believed humans would be easy to eliminate. They hadn't understood human nature. When threatened, humans prepare. They plan, they build, and when necessary, they fight with everything they have. We built 900,000 warships hoping never to use them, he said quietly to himself. Now we build 1,000 worlds hoping never to lose them. On his desk sat a small model of one of the Nightfall ships. Once a symbol of humanity's secret power, now a reminder of a conflict most hoped would never be repeated. Beside it was a newer model, a colony ship carrying humans and aliens together to new worlds. The nightmare that had silenced the galaxy for a brief time had transformed into an unexpected peace. Humanity's overwhelming show of force had strangely created the conditions for cooperation among the stars. The former enemies were now partners in the greatest period of exploration and growth the galaxy had ever known. Outside June's window, the lights of Sol glowed in the evening. Somewhere up there, human ships traveled alongside alien vessels. Former enemies worked together. New colonies were being founded. The Dyson arrays provided power to worlds that had never known such abundance. The future looked bright, not just for humanity, but for all species willing to work together in the new galactic order.